This is many people, man, having depression and suicidal thoughts, man. In a situation, I was talking to one of my well, like last week, man, that I had God put something in my spirit, man, and I just he showed me that people was committing suicide through the situation, man, and one of my good brothers that called me Wednesday. They called me Wednesday, and and we normally pray on Wednesday, so he called me like 9 o'clock, hit my spirit like at 8 something, man. So I was just sitting there meditating and thinking about people, you know what I mean? And then he called me like Wednesday, man, and then we prayed. And then one of my prayers was, man, because it hit me like people was having, commit suicide through the situation. You know what I mean? God put that in my spirit. That's what's going on now. A lot of people, I know people depressed and anxiety, you know what I'm saying? But people is having, suicidal thoughts because they're losing everything, man. And, a big reason why, man, because God didn't give the spirit of fear, but peace, love, and sound mind, man. He didn't give the spirit of fear, man. He gives a sound mind. And a lot of people can't run to God in this situation. We serve God in the head, and most people can't run to God. So in this situation, man, that especially losing all, they don't know who to run to. So they commit suicide. And then I looked on the news, man. I see the news, and it like people jumping off the out the window, commit suicide. I seen that in the news, a couple days ago. And God showed me, man. He said, make a sound, man. He put all week I've been hearing, we gotta make a sound. We gotta make a sound, man. The Lord said He would never leave us, man, or forsake us. God would never leave us, or He would never forsake us, man. That's what the word say. That's what the word say, man. Deuteronomy 31:6, man. Be strong and in good courage. Do not fear nor be afraid of them, for the Lord your God, He is the one who goes with you. He will not leave you nor forsake you. He won't forsake you. And I've been hearing the Lord say, make a sound, man. Make a sound. So many people been living without God, living worldly, you know what I mean? Living in our ways. And now when they hit this panic, right, man, this storm, this thing we going through, that it's hard for most people to run to the Lord. So they do whatever's on their mind, man. They suicide, anxiety. And in the word, man, in Genesis, man, that when man sinned and they heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord among the trees of the garden. When they hid themselves, man, when they heard the presence of the Lord, because they had sin on them, because Adam he ain't hid himself before from God, but when he sinned, he hid from the Lord. He hid from the Lord when he was operating, when he was uncovered. He hid from the Lord. He heard a sound. He heard a sound from the Lord, man, and he hid himself from the presence. It wasn't too much of Adam. It was what was in Adam, man. And that's the trick of the enemy, man. What the enemy done to us, right? You know what I mean? That he planted that mess in us. Genesis chapter 3, verse 1 and 6, God took out the woman, what God took out of us, and that's what went over there and communicate with the serpent. If you see it on Matthew chapter 4, verse 111, you see how Jesus showed us in our flesh how we defeat the enemy. Matthew chapter 4, verse 111, in Genesis chapter 3, verse 1 and 6, when the woman spoke serpent, the same scenario, lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, pride of the world. And you see that's what's in us. Those who don't serve God, those who want the world, lust of the eye, lust of the flesh, pride of the world, and we've been wanting the world. We've been lusting off the world. We've been, desirable off the world. And now we're facing this situation. And now those people that have been dealing with wanting the world, wanting the pride of the world, and they cannot run to God. Why? Because the world has stopped. The world had forsaken us. The world forsaken us. Those who people that love the world, it had forsaken us. The world stopped. That shows you that the world don't love you. The world only loves its own. It don't love you. Look what the world done to you, that the world stopped, and that everybody got to stop. The whole world just stopped moving. It stopped producing. It stopped giving you. It stopped. The world stopped. God won't forsake you. God loves you. But the world shows you that it do not love you. It can't love you. It's forsaked us. It's forsaked everyone. It stopped. Now, the worldly people that have been living in desire of the world, now they stop. And those who can't take it, they start committing suicide, man. You got to make a sound, man. The Lord told me, man, you got to make a sound. When you make a sound, man, you scare off the enemy, man. The enemy, what the enemy done, man, he planted a seed in us, man, and that thing, see, the serpent don't talk to us. He talked to that thing that's within us. He talked to that beast that's in us. Jesus showed us in Matthew chapter 4 how to defeat the enemy by the word. It said he was in the wilderness. If you go to Mark chapter 1 or whatever, it said Jesus was in the wilderness, been tempted by Satan. In Mark chapter 1, hold on. Mark chapter 1, verse 13, and he was there in the wilderness 40 days tempted by Satan and was with the wild beasts. And Matthew is give you a longer version, that Jesus was talking to the serpent and he was defeating them by the word. It was the word, but Jesus in the wilderness, he put that flesh under subjection. He put the flesh under subjection. So that's what we got to do. But in Mark, it tells you, it gets a small verse, like 2 lines. It says he was in the wilderness with Satan, tempted by Satan with the wild beasts. So he was in there with Satan, being tempted with the wild beast. Who the wild beast? It wasn't Satan. The beast is you, the flesh. That's what the serpent did to us. He fed off our flesh, and he made us become him. The serpent, we became the enemy. What he done to the woman in the garden, what he done to man, he made man become him, the enemy. That's why Christ died for us, man, took on our sins. But do you accept Jesus Christ as the Lord and Savior? Do you believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? Because what the serpent done, he made you become a beast. He made you become him. That's why God problems with man. You don't see God having problem with the with the devil, with the enemy. We the enemy. We became the enemy. We became the enemy. Lust of the eye, lust of the flesh, and pride of the world, man. You became that. And so now that our whole life we've been living like the enemy, feeding off the world. But the world stopped. The world forsake you. When Adam heard God walking, man, that he was afraid because he was naked. That beast was on him. He was afraid. He was naked. Well, what was in him? That's why God said, man, can't be alone, man. What we have inside us, it can't be alone. We need God help. We need God. You need God. You can't deal with that by yourself. You need God. And so those who can't run to God, man, because they've been living their life, you know what I mean, serving this world, and the world forsake you. But you got to go to God, man. Because you serve God in your head. And you need God. You need the word. So you got to make a sound. You got to make a sound. When you make a sound, man, you know what I mean? You know, you got to make the noise work, man. 2 Samuel chapter 5:24, and it shall be when you hear the sound of marching in the top of the mulberry tree, when you shall advance quickly. For then the Lord will go out before you and strike the camp of the Philistines. Joshua 6:20. So the people shouted when the priest blew the trumpet, and it happened when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, and the people shouted with a loud with a great shout that then the walls fell down flat. Then the people went up into the city, every man strengthened before him, and they took the city. See, when they made sound, man, the walls fell down, man. We got to make a sound. You got to make a sound, man. You got to make a sound, man. Get that thing out you, man. You got to pray. You got to serve God, worship, cry out. That's what Adam done, man, garden, man. When he sinned, man, I mean, when you hear the sound mean cry out. You got to cry out. You got to cry out, man. You can't sit there and dwell in suicidal depression, man, because the world don't love you. It shows you. Only person who loves you is God. The world forsake you, man, so you got to serve God and worship the Lord. And then you got to learn how to, we got to make a sound. Make some noise in your family, in your marriage, in your home. It is God who we serve. Make a sound. Make a sound, man. All your life, man, that we've been living worldly, we've been serving the wrong God. And now you see that the world, man, that forsake you, man. God's our helper. The Lord, those who uphold life, man. God's our helper, man. He's our helper. And I just pray, man, all the people that live in, you know what I mean, think about suicidal and having suicidal thoughts. You know that you just worship God, man. You Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior, and confess with your heart. Confess with your mouth, believe in your heart, man, that he died and rose from the grave. You know, you'll be saved, because that's the trick of the enemy, man. He planted what's in us, man. He made us become him. Now we become the enemy of God. That's why Christ died for us, man. It's what's in you. The serpent did not talk to you. He talked to what's in you. So you're dealing with hurt, dealing with depression, pride, insecurity. The serpent will feed off what's in you. He feed off of what's in us. He feed off of that, and it didn't grow. That's why if you have any type of hurt in your life, man, you've been through, man, the serpent will feed off your hurt. He will use that to persecute other people or hurt you. If you lustful, if you love of money, he feed off that stuff, man. That's how he gets you, man. So be aware, man. And make a sound in your life. Make a sound. Cry out to God. Because the world don't love you. It has forsaken you. It shows you that God is bigger than the world. Yes, Lord.